because I don't know if you've heard of Base Cafe down in Bridgeport, but they're a pretty interesting concept. And we had Boyu Lee, one of the owners and co-founders on, and he was talking about the importance of starting a community business and how he really involves the community in his business. And I think, Casa Indigo is very similar. So, why don't we start with that a little bit? Like, where does that come from?
You like being involved with the community and stuff?
Yeah.
So, I mean, basically all of us that are here, like, as you know, Beto and Marcos, we all grew up here. I grew up a little bit on Taylor Street, which is just a couple blocks the other way. Um, but I mean, the main thing wasn't so much to open a restaurant; it was to open a place of business in our neighborhood, so we could be part of whatever is going on, and also be, a positive effect on us being in the neighborhood. So we sponsor a basketball team for the youth. We donate to the Pilsen Food Pantry every week on Mondays. Whatever we can do to be a part of helping anything out, we want to be a part of it. And that's basically it. There's no complex thing of anything. We're just that's what we want to do, and that's what we're doing. Which I wish we could do more, but
And I know that you collaborate with a lot of other businesses, restaurants, and otherwise on 18th Street. Like, how was that process? Like, were you met with a lot of skepticism, or just fully embraced from the jump?
So I mean, our whole thing is local. Our menu consists of almost all or close to local ingredients, non-GMO, organic when possible. So we're basically giving you whatever the best we can get. We want to serve it. So on that local side of it, all the vendors that we use, we want to try to use everybody that's as close as possible with us, or at least in Chicago or whatnot. Our bread is baked across the street at two different bakeries, and stuff like that. We buy all our meat and chicken is from local farms in Illinois, Iowa, or Wisconsin. And so, I mean, it all starts from there, you know what I mean? Like being local that way. That also includes being part of the community as well. But yeah, it's hand in hand for us. Like, we don't even think about it. This is what we do.
Hell yeah. And do you think that's kind of a different mindset than a lot of other restaurant owners and chefs in the industry?
Well, I mean, I would hope so, that it would get to that point where, everybody that's in this area is trying to help some way or some shape, short. But with the struggle of the pandemic, I think people have shut off on that side of trying to help when they're just trying to survive. So it's difficult at this time to, like, even talk to other restaurants about, well, hey, what can we do to help people in our neighborhood? But everybody's so scared of losing their business right now that everyone's just fighting really hard to keep the things going. And the other thing is, like, we want to hire as many people as we can, so we try to do that as well. But pandemic times, it's just hard trying to do all that stuff.
What are some struggles that you met even before COVID hit, and how did you navigate that?
The beginning was definitely like, hey, who are these guys and what are they serving? Their place is called Casa Indigo. I don't get it. So in the beginning, we almost had a whole different menu, but people would come in and start ordering stuff that aren't on the menu. So we just went with it, and we just changed our menu to fit our community kind of a little bit. Like, we sell a whole lot of carne asada here. We sell a whole lot of fried chicken, and obviously we sell a lot of tacos and burritos. But it's kind of like, that's why we add the global aspect to our menu as well. You don't want to get people to get sick of your menu, so we try to throw in some random stuff here and there, and just to play with it. And I try to use all my influence and all the chefs I've worked for, all the restaurants I've worked at over the years, and try to bring all the best into those flavors into Casa Indigo. But yeah, like, it's hard to find your identity in a place when I'm not a Mexican owner, but they're kind of like, what is Casa Indigo? But we found our niche, and like you said, we get a lot of local support, and that's what's helps us survive to this day through the pandemic and in general.
What are some of the lessons you learned before you started Casa Indigo that you brought from those past experiences to where you're at now?
Number one thing is concentration on food, flavors. Try to be unique a little bit, have something that not everybody else is selling, but also like read your neighborhood. You want them to come to your place multiple times, so have stuff on your menu that excites people and gets things going. Like we just added that trending quesadilla last couple of weeks, and it's sold out every week just because that's what people want, because that's what you see on social media and other places selling it. So we adapted and we started doing it too. But yeah, just you have to adapt to where you are and who's coming in. I'm sure I would love to serve a $60 ribeye, but nobody's gonna buy it here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We have to sell things that people want to eat and can afford, and especially now a pandemic with so many people working and not working. We just try to, we try to serve the best food for the lowest price we can possibly go, so we can keep going.
for sure. I mean, yeah, the pandemic has definitely changed everything, and I don't know. I feel like you guys are well positioned. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but because you guys are connected with the community and really have proven that you're community minded, I think people have gravitated and stuck with you guys. And then you mentioned the birria. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there down here in Guadalajara, like the home of birria. If you need like a research guinea pig to go down,
Do it. Send us your notes.
for
Send us
sure.
pictures.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And then you mentioned the importance of getting people to come back to your restaurant. I mean, it's a no brainer, but actually, INFI's head of sales, our CRO, Jason Lee, he's started several Asian themed restaurants in the past. And when we had him on last month, he talked about the importance of that first month and grabbing people's attention that first month and getting them to come back within those first 4 to 6 weeks or 4 to 8 weeks. Would you would you say that is something that like you saw with your restaurant as well when you first opened up, that or like that really played a part in sustaining the business?
So I think we were probably the other way around on that. Like it was kind of slow for us in the beginning because again, people were trying to figure figure us out. But eventually, as we got our niche going, it finally, like when we changed our menu to more suit the neighborhood, then we started to see regulars come a couple times a week. Then we started getting articles written about our food, about having the best, steak torta and having the best wings list and all that stuff. That's sort of stuff happened. We had to adapt in the beginning. I didn't have that mindset in the beginning, and I should have. I was like, oh, let me just make my food that I want to do my way. It's not like they can't do that. You gotta do a little bit of yours, and you gotta do a little bit of what people want. And I didn't realize how big social media is in the restaurant world. All the restaurants that I worked at before Indigo, they always had somebody that did all their social media for. So like, it's not something we ever talked about and said, oh, we need a good picture for social media. Nobody ever said that in the meeting. It was just done that way. But now that I'm in the business as an owner and entrepreneur, social media is where things lie, and like us sending pictures of our specials every day and stuff like that's what helped bring us closer to our community and our clients and our customer base, even if they're not in the neighborhood.
For sure. I mean, I every day at noon when I'm back in Chicago, I wait for that post,
Yeah,
the
cool.
special car.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so I mean, yeah, I mean, you said it, like the importance of social media and maintaining that consistency. Because like I'm not bullshitting. I really do wait at noon for those specials to see.
Yeah, totally.
Uh,
We have a lot of people that will call and be like, "Hey, I didn't see the specials yet. What are the specials?" So
right.
we get it. We know how important that is.
Mm-hmm. And then
So I think we were probably the other way around on that. Like it was kind of slow for us in the beginning because again, people were trying to figure figure us out. But eventually, as we got our niche going, it finally, like when we changed our menu to more suit the neighborhood, then we started to see regulars come a couple times a week. Then we started getting articles written about our food, about having the best, steak torta and having the best wings list and all that stuff. That's sort of stuff happened. We had to adapt in the beginning. I didn't have that mindset in the beginning, and I should have. I was like, oh, let me just make my food that I want to do my way. It's not like they can't do that. You gotta do a little bit of yours, and you gotta do a little bit of what people want. And I didn't realize how big social media is in the restaurant world. The other restaurants that I worked at before Indigo, they always had somebody that did all their social media for. So like, it's not something we ever talked about and said, oh, we need a good picture for social media. Nobody ever said that in the meeting. It was just done that way. But now that I'm in the business as an owner and entrepreneur, social media is where things lie, and like us sending pictures of our specials every day and stuff like that's what helped bring us closer to our community and our clients and our customer base, even if they're not in the neighborhood.
For sure. I mean, every day at noon when I'm back in Chicago, I wait for that post,
Yeah,
the
cool.
special car.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so I mean, yeah, I mean, you said it, like the importance of social media and maintaining that consistency. Because like I'm not bullshitting. I really do wait at noon for those specials to see.
Yeah, totally. We got
Uh,
yeah, we have a lot of people that will call and be like, "Hey, I didn't see the specials yet. What are the specials?" So we
right.
get it. We know how important that is.
Hmm. And then what was I about to say here? Yeah, so you talked about not just cooking your food, but cooking what people want. How did you go about finding out what people want?
Like in the beginning, we never had steak tacos on the menu. We never had carne asada tacos on the menu. It was like, oh, can I get 4 carne asada tacos? And I would tell the guys, if we have it, just say you can make it. We had steak, obviously, so we would make it. And then I was like, we need to adapt because people are coming here very confused of what we're serving. Because we had avocado toast on there and stuff like that, like all these things that nobody really cared about here. I was like, yo, dude, bring us some real flavor. And so we just positioned and went even more hardcore on Mexican flavors and adding in our global influence, and that's what people like. Like anytime we do an Indian special, it usually always sells out. Chicken tikka masala sells out all the time. But that's the kind of the way we're going now. We're just gonna put food with a good variety, diversity on our menu, and that's what people respect on us. Instead of just having the same old stuff that a couple of other restaurants on the street have as well. We just want to be. We don't want our menu to match anybody else's.
And so what's the biggest lesson you've learned in this journey in the last 3 years?
um don't give up. Like if you got your plan and you know it's gonna work, just keep going at it. Trust me, in the first like 3 or 4 months I was like, fuck, this sucks. I'm like, we weren't as popular as we thought we were going to be, but magically it just all started coming together as we started adjusting and adapting to our neighborhood and our community and our people and what they tell us. Like just this week we had a couple NBA prospects come here to eat, and then the next day they got drafted. So you know what I mean? It's kind of cool shit like that happens. Um, but you know what I mean? Like you have to fit into where you're gonna be. You can't just be like, oh, I have an awesome idea. I'm just gonna put it in the hottest neighborhood in the world. That doesn't always work. And saturation and and uniqueness is huge in restaurants, especially in Chicago, because of highly coveted we are as a restaurant city, because we are. We have one of the best food cities in not just the United States but the world. We're probably top 10 in terms of diversity and the kind of restaurants we have, and all the higher end avant-garde and all that stuff. We have all kinds of stuff. But we want to be part of it. We want to have our own stake and have our own uniqueness recognized.
How did you guys get that notoriety in those really coveted publications?
Honestly, it probably it came from our Instagram, Casa Indigo on Instagram. As a new restaurant opens in any neighborhood, especially a popular one like Pilsen, people are gonna start to be like, oh, I'm gonna follow. I want to see what these guys do, and it just carried from there. And then random critics always want to try new restaurants, and we hit a chord with some of them. Thank God, and they said we had the best of certain things. So just having to work out, but yeah, man, like social media for restaurants, especially in this city, is pretty crucial, and you got to really have something. I don't want to say like something that people want to follow, but like people want to see that, like, oh, these guys are a little different. They're doing things a little differently. But it all comes from social media and all the attention we get on that. Um, but yeah, like from when the pandemic started, before the pandemic, we were at like 9% on gratuity. After the pandemic, it's been in the range of 20 to 29%. So
Nice.
we're getting, we're getting the love. We're getting love that people want us to stick around, make food and all that stuff. So that gives us the confidence to expand and go on to broader horizons.
Nice. And INFI, we are a restaurant tech company, so I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, a restaurant owner, what are some helpful pieces of tech? I mean, you mentioned social media, but is there anything else that you rely on as an entrepreneur and as an owner that makes your life easier?
Um, I mean, obviously, social media is a big thing because we get a lot of questions come from that. But I don't know. So that's how big social media is, that it affects your business that much. But like I said, just adapting and never just being, oh, we're only gonna go this way. There's only direction we're going in for a restaurant. You gotta adjust. You gotta change things around. You gotta make it affordable for people to eat, especially now. But just in general, be adaptable. Don't just stick with your one plan. It's not 1980 anymore. Like, there's so many restaurants, especially here, that you got to find your way to be different, because you will be. But concentrate on that and make yourself stand out.
Yep.